Hey beauty, listen up. It's really quite simple. You're a divine soul having a human experience, and all the abundance you seek is available to you right now. Your assignment is to get out of your own way, become your most aligned and magnetic self, and open up to receive the desires that are placed in your heart. Because what you are seeking is also seeking you. Welcome to the Abundance Club. I'm your host, Amy Wilkinson, soul and abundance mentor and manifestation teacher, and I love that you're here. Let's go ahead and expand and play in this field of infinite potential. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Abundance Club podcast. How are you? How are you feeling? Tune in for a moment. Check in with your beautiful self. How are you feeling? Are you feeling lit up? Are you feeling joyful? Are you feeling expansive? Or maybe you're not, and that's okay too. I am hoping that this episode will inspire you, will uplift you. It will certainly stir something in you because we're talking about dreams and desires today. And I'm actually sharing in this episode a recent membership call with my beautiful Light Path Collective women who are having incredible shifts in their life from doing this work and really embodying it, because this is what it's all about. So I want to share that with you guys today because it feels really important. All of us have dreams and desires that are within us. And if you're sitting there thinking, nope, no, I don't, it's more likely that you haven't given yourself that permission to access it, because we all have those seeds of desires in our heart that are placed there for a reason and for us to really start to go after them, lean into them, explore them, dance with them, as I explained in this episode. It feels really important now more than ever that you start to prioritize the dreams that are there for you, because they are there for you for a reason. And not only are they there for you, but by you following your dreams and you serving in that way, by following the desires in your heart as the soul guides you, you're actually serving the greater collective, because they're not just for you, they're part of your mission and what your soul is called here to do. So I'm going to go into the episode, and I hope you can just sit back, tune in, and enjoy. We don't let ourselves dream big enough. Right? Part of us just thinks that we can't have it all, or I've got this, or I'm satisfied with that. That's enough. I only just need just enough. Okay, why do you think that is? If we're shifting this relationship with our desires, Georgina, really grasping this about desires and ego lately, that it's not all bad as often taught. It can be greater purpose coming through. Yeah, and this is the paradigm. This is the conditioning that we've been taught. And a big part of that is too the ego wanting to hold us back into safety and familiar. Don't go after something that we don't know what's on the other side of it. So I want to ask you the question then, and just feel it, sit with it. Do you actually believe you can have it all? Whatever that means. So let's say that you can have the desires manifested across all different areas of your life. Right? Do you believe that you can have it all? And if you don't, what comes up? What is the voice saying? Still struggling with the have it all. I feel the edges moving out like a container. Yeah. And it's great that you said that, because if we have the desire, we are being called to be a vessel, to for something bigger, to expand our container for something bigger, to bring to life. Remember, it's life moving through us. We are the conduit. We are the channel for that. We have signed up and said yes to that. And now more than ever, particularly as we're moving into these next couple of years, we are really being called by our soul to show up and to call in the life that we have been dreaming about. Right? If the dream is in you, it is for you. It wouldn't be there otherwise. If the desire is in you, it is because you have the capacity, you have the mechanics to bring it into form. It means that it is already happening in a future timeline. Otherwise, it would not be showing up in you. And if we go really quantum, we move beyond the liminal space and time in our 3D reality. So that future reality is happening now. And I know that that can be a little bit brain trippy with this. Okay. And that's where I want to take us today in the practice is bringing us into that now. Okay. So we hold ourselves back. Let me know if you resonate with that. We hold ourselves back often from accessing a bigger dream. And these are the reasons mainly: fear of failure or a fear of success. Okay. So fear of not having what we go after, fear of perhaps that disappointment, because we know what disappointment feels like and we've had it before. The limiting beliefs, which we went over yesterday, and we'll do a practice on that within the practice today. Fear of judgment, right? Like, yeah, and that's very real as well. I had a discussion with a girl yesterday who's having incredible success all of a sudden in her business, like amazing. And she's just finding that she has no support. She's being judged by those around her who were close friends. And so she's going through a real up level and having to look at, okay, are these relationships serving me as I'm expanding? Is this serving me now? Okay, so that can feel really real. But as we know, with fear of judgment, the only person that matters for judging us is ourselves. Georgina, as the container stretches, it's always the same words come up. So it's cool as can be, just like, yeah, right, to them. Poverty consciousness basically coming from father line. Yeah. So recognizing, and that's a really great, I'm glad you said that, because recognizing when something jumps in, is this mine? Is this mine? And you'll know straight away, where does this come from? Oh, this feels like it's more of my father's or my mother's or something that I heard in school. This isn't even my belief. So, moving out of comfort zone, lack of clarity. So we don't go after those dreams because we think, I don't know the how. I don't know how that's even possible. I don't know the steps. And as I've said before, the how's not our business. Our business is to just follow that one impulse and then the next and then the next, because we are co-creating alongside the divine. Okay. And it might be because of past trauma or setbacks. We've experienced failure or trauma. So that can create a really protective instinct that prevents us from pursuing our dreams. Right? Or we don't feel worthy. Okay. So we are breaking out of these limiting paradigms now and see it as that. See it as a construct that we have lived in, but we have choice and sovereignty as divine beings to choose another way now, to choose another reality, to keep choosing, to keep choosing. Okay. So we're in this activation portal at the moment where we're being asked for that. And then obviously a lot of this can be in our subconscious, which is why we do the work to see what's there. Okay. So much conditioning shifts us out of the dreaming as well. Like, look at all of the distractions that we have. A lot of them are purposeful distractions. Do you give yourself time and space to just dream without your phone, without the books, without the music, without the distraction? It's just to dream, just to let yourself fall in love with your desires and know that you can trust them. Okay, I think that that's a big one as well. Know that you can trust what's coming through. Yeah. All right. So, desires are like messages from our soul, like God's way of communicating to us, okay, to guide us. I can remember I was looking back on some photos from a few years ago and I went away for my 40th. I'm turning 43 next week. So it was kind of coming up in my memories, and I remembered how I felt leading up to that birthday. And I just knew that there was something on the other side of that. I just knew that on the other side of 40, for me, there was going to be a new way of living, of operating. I did not know what it looked like at all. But all that I had was a feeling. All that I had was a desire. And that was all that I could go off. And it was that desire, after this 40th trip, it was that desire that was speaking to me, going, I want to live by the beach. I want to live by the beach. Right? There was no logic to it because I had a beautiful home around the corner from my business, lovely friends, kids were happy, kids were in a great school. None of it made logical sense. So, really anchor that in. Often the desires there aren't going to make logical sense, but it was speaking to me. So, I followed that thread and started to just go, what if I just looked at places up the coast? What if I just started to look at houses? Right? I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not going into the how or anything like that. I'm just following the thread of desire. I'm desiring to just start looking at houses on the internet. And I've seen one I like. I'm desiring to just go and have a look at it. And we did. My husband and I jumped in the car and went to Mundi and had a look at this house. This was probably about 8 months before we moved. But I just followed that thread. Didn't mean that I was going to buy that house. I didn't buy it. We weren't ready to, but that was it. And then it was the next piece that dropped in when I was away on holidays. It's time. Put your house on the market, right? That next thread. Now, I didn't have the plan mapped out, but I just followed the bits, the feeling. And that led to the next thing. And when I got that, put your house on the market, that seemed like this huge mountain to climb. Like, how on earth? There's so much to do. What does that mean? All of this. Massive, massive boulder obstacles along the way. My daughter not wanting to leave her friends and her school, like devastated at the idea of our house selling. Right? But I knew I had to just keep following the desire. It's safe to do this. It's safe to follow that desire, to flirt with it. I had to dance with it. And then it takes you to the next piece. And then the next piece. And this is how spirit communicates with us. I could have felt that and gone, no, that's silly. That's not for me. Appreciate what you've got. Stay where you are. Everything's fine. It's better for the kids this way, blah, 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 blah. I could have got in my head and rejected that. And many will do that because we all have these seeds. We all have the desires. It's just whether we choose to put our hand up and say yes to it. And that can take courage and bravery. And that might feel like you are stepping off a cliff, and often it will. Okay. and things can seem like they're not possible, but you need to remember you are co-creating with spirit, the divine God that created everything. Okay? And that you have the ability and the choice to tap into miracle consciousness. We're moving into the age of miracles. Okay? So please do not limit yourself by what your mind is telling you is possible, because as I've spoken about before, our mind is not our guide. Our mind does not guide us. If I'd sat down and tried to put it all on paper and work it out, how could this happen and how is this, is just no way. It's not possible. Okay? We have to dance with the bigger energies that are calling us into more and that have this already planned out. They're not downloading the whole map for us. They're just giving us the next step through the impulse and through the desire in our heart, if that makes sense. Let me know if that's all making sense for you. Type a 1 in the chat. Okay. So our job is to sync up on the frequency of our desires, to sync up to the frequency of our desires. That's it. Okay. To lean into it. Imagine that you're dancing with it and it is leading you, and you just let go and you lean into it. We overcomplicate it. We overcomplicate it so much. And for many of us, when we focus on more of a manufactured manifestation, what that looks like is we ask ourselves, okay, what do I need to do to make it happen? And under the surface, there's this belief that if I don't make it happen, it's not going to happen. Okay, so that's actually unconsciously operating from a place of fear and control. We're not fully trusting. And so, in the rigidity of that, in the control of that, we miss the magic. We miss the synchronicity. We miss the way that spirit wants to dance for us. So that is a very manufactured way of manifesting, where we think, I've got to do it. What do I need to do to make this happen? Okay. And I feel like we've all operated like that. Maybe we still do in some ways, where we get a bit grippy with it, where we, and can you see, guys, how that's not fully trusting that it's already happened? So what's the pathway then? It's a surrendered manifestation. So instead of asking, what do I need to do to make it happen? I trust that it's already happened. In a future reality, it's already manifested. Right? We wouldn't have the desire if it wasn't a potential in our field, in the field. Everything exists as a potential. So if it's a soul desire, meaning it's a done deal, how do I get to show up? How do I get to accelerate this manifestation process and let it in now? And that's what we're going to do today. Not from a place of carrying the dream on our shoulders and holding it with this underlying vibration and operating from a place of fear and control. Do you see the difference, guys? Can you feel the different energy of that, where it feels like it's more manufactured versus more of an embodied, surrendered approach? Let me know. And if you want to chat about this, or if you relate, or you've got something that you want to share, just put up a hand or unmute. Yeah, it is that flow, right? That's when we move more into that flow state. When we stop needing it so much. is often when it shows up. Okay. Is that making sense? Does anyone have any questions about that? So, like a wild animal, don't push it. Mm. Yeah, and we're going to dive into this about, seeing it as a living and breathing entity of itself. This dream, this desire, this manifestation. So we're going to play with that. I'm going to play with that today. So it's about becoming a vibratory match by saying, okay, I know this is a given. So in knowing that, how do I choose to show up? Who do I need to be? What's one thing I could do today, knowing that that's already taken care of, knowing that it's a given? How would I be? How would I feel in my body? Like, these are really great things to ask yourself and to tap into that energy. What would I do? How would I feel knowing that that's already taken care of? I realize that embedded in this, guys, is a lot of the faith and trust piece, right? So if your desire is the message from your soul, if your desire is leading it and it's guiding you, you are calling in and you're walking alongside your body's faith and trust and knowing. And that's what we have this support for, that we can call on. That's why we have this support in spirit form that we can call on and say, can you guys show me what I need to see here? Show me what I can't see here. Show me what's blocking me. Help me trust more in this process. Like, ask for the support. You're not doing this alone. I hope you enjoyed that. If you would like to receive the full 90-minute class, which actually included a really powerful manifestation activation that we did together that I guide you through, it's incredibly impactful. If you want to receive that along with the other calls and the practices and so forth that are in the Light Path Collective portal, you can sign up with the link below. You actually can get your 2-week free trial. So you'll be able to get that as well as all of the other content and goodies and practices that are going to support you. It's really important when we are wanting to call in a new reality, when we're wanting to up level, we're wanting to manifest, we need to prepare our vessel. We need to prepare ourselves energetically. We need to start to receive also the support that's going to help us along the way, because it can feel quite isolating and we are going to bump up against growth edges that we need support through. This is kind of work that I do in my one-to-one mentoring with my clients, but you're getting it at such a low ticket price and the opportunity to be in a group collective as well. So it's a really powerful place I call to land and expand. So I will pop the details in the show notes. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day and a beautiful week. And please don't forget to follow along on your chosen platform, your podcast platform. That really helps. It also you get the notifications then when an episode comes out. And I would love it if you could share this with someone you know who maybe needs a little bit of inspiration and support in their life, and do a review. That's all I ask. All right, beauties, have an amazing day, and I will see you again soon.